everybody, this is Nicole from Wildflower Valley Farm. Today I'm going to show you some new baby rabbits that were born just a few days ago and talk to you about some supplemental feeding in case that is something that you ever have to do with your rabbits. Occasionally you might have a runt and have to supplement the feeding for that little guy. You don't always have to do it with store-bought milk. There's not necessarily a reason to do it with a bottle. Occasionally that might be necessary, but in most cases it's not, and today I'm going to show you how to do it without having to use a bottle. So about a month ago I bred both of these does, and since they share a cage all the time, they're actually bonded to each other, so they get along pretty well. Since they always share a cage together, I'm leaving them together to have their babies. This doe is still pregnant. She still looks very pregnant, so I think that she is probably due any time now. Both of these does were bred within just about 3 days of each other, so this doe gave birth on Monday, and since today is Wednesday, this doe is not very far behind her as far as due dates. I gave them each their own nest box just so that I don't have to worry about them fighting over whose babies are whose. I don't think they will, but just to be sure, they each have their own nest box. As you can see, this nest box has hay, but thus far has gone unused, but it's there, it's prepared. This doe has been moving things around and exhibiting nesting behavior, so I think she's getting ready. She obviously hasn't pulled any fur yet. And then these babies, like I said, they're about, I guess they were born Sunday rather than Monday. So they are 3 days old now. There are 8 of them, and there are lots of different colors. One of them has me a little concerned. Most of them are very healthy, good size. This one is a good deal smaller than the others. It appears to be getting plenty to eat. Its belly is full, it is eating, but it's just so much smaller than the others. This one is very small also, and again, it has a full belly every time I check on them. Just to kind of give you a comparison of the size difference. Now these babies were all born the same day. From the same doe, because the other doe in here has not given birth to her babies yet. So I know they're from the same doe. But this one is so much smaller. And I do have experience with what amounts to having a runt in the litter. I don't recall ever having 2 runts in the litter. I seem to in this litter. Other than size, there does not appear to be anything at all abnormal with those 2 kits or anything wrong with them. They're just so very much smaller than all of their siblings. So I want to show you how I supplement if I do have a runt in a litter of rabbit kits. And I keep using the word kit. If you are new to rabbits, you may not be familiar with that term. The word kit, K-I-T, is just a name for baby rabbits. You might hear some people just call them babies. You may hear some people call them kits. You may hear some people call them popples. That's because if you put your hand over the nest, they kind of all bounce up and down, kind of like popcorn. But if I have a runt and a litter of kits, I like to supplement. I usually start on the second day after they're born. Most of the time, the day that they are born, you are not going to see a difference in size that is so great that you feel like there's any need to intervene on that first day. If there is a difference, it's typically going to be on either day 2 or day 3 after they have been born. So I noticed these guys on the day after they were born that there was a size difference. It wasn't so significant that I was concerned at that time, but I did notice there was a size difference on that day. And then on 2 days after they were born, so they were born on Sunday, Monday, it seemed like it would be worth paying attention, but I didn't really feel the need to intervene on Monday. By Tuesday, I really kind of felt like that it was necessary, and so on Tuesday, I went ahead and did some supplemental feeding of those 2 smallest kits. I'm going to show you how I did that here in just a minute, and there's no need for a bottle. If your doe is patient enough and gentle enough to allow you to do what I'm about to show you, typically you can supplement those kits, some extra supplemental feedings, just using your doe, and you don't have to have any special equipment or no supplemental formula or anything like that. You can just use your doe and let those kits have some extra feeding sessions with your doe. I can't guarantee that if you supplement your kits in the way that I do that they will always all catch up and end up the same size as they grow, but in my experience, the vast majority of the time this works, and there are no other complications down the road, and you end up with all of your kits being very healthy and growing out to about the same size by the time they're full grown. So let me show you how I do that. Everybody's different. You may have a better way. You may know someone who does it differently, but let me show you what has always worked for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mama rabbit here, and I know that I have the correct doe because I can tell that she has milk. I'm going to take mama rabbit here, and very gently I'm going to put her on her back, and then I'm going to place the smallest kit on her belly so that it can nurse without any competition from the other babies. So to do this, you want to make sure that you support mama very well. Make sure that she is not fearful of falling. Sometimes it's helpful to put the doe's head under your arm, as I've done here. She can still breathe just fine. Her nose is not stuck up in my armpit or anything, but I'm able to hold her head and her shoulders under my arm and then support the rest of her body by reaching my arm all the way down her back. I'm actually holding her butt in my hand like this. And then I'm just going to take this baby and kind of use my fingers to find a nipple to make it easy. You just lay the baby on mama's belly like that and let it nurse until it's full. If it wants to move to another nipple, I will usually let it do that until its belly is round like a golf ball. And like I said, sometimes just doing this once gives that baby enough of a boost that they catch up to their siblings. Sometimes it takes more than one supplemental feeding like this. But as long as this kit is not exhibiting any signs of distress or failure to thrive or any sickness or anything else that might be wrong with it, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to let it nurse, let it have some of these extra nursing sessions. And their bellies are so tiny it doesn't take but just a minute. Now I'm going to put baby back for just a minute so that it's safe while I set mama down. Very carefully turn her back over. Let her go back in the cage. And then this baby, I don't know if you can see on camera there, but this baby now has a nice full round tummy. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other kit that is so much smaller. That one was the smallest of those two, but I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. And hopefully within a few days it will catch up to the rest of its siblings. These babies definitely know where the food is. They have no trouble at all finding it to eat once I lay them on mama's belly. Rabbits typically don't feed their young throughout the day like dogs and cats do. They will generally feed at around dawn and dusk. So early in the morning, just before daylight, and late in the afternoon, just before it gets good and dark. Now that's not to say you will never catch your doe in the nest with her babies throughout the day, but it doesn't happen frequently. So if you have the need to supplement a smaller kit like this, sometime in the middle of the day sometimes is a good time to do that. Just that extra feeding once or twice in the middle of the day. And like I said, a lot of times they will catch up to the others, and within just a day or two they are so close in size to the others that you can't tell that one was ever any smaller. And once they do catch up in size, I don't continue to supplement their feeding like this. So again, that one now has a nice round tummy, so I know that it got a good meal. And I'm just going to put it back in the nest with the other kits. So that's going to be all for today's video. Mama Rabbit did an excellent job letting me feed those babies. And despite having some that are a little bit smaller than the rest, they all seem to be doing very well. They're happy and healthy. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click that little bell icon so that you will be alerted the next time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.